Mesechus Nazir daf mem test. The Gemara says they need tzrichas by a kohen gadol that's also to metame to kroivim over v'imo. You would think specifically there's an issue for a kohen gadol to metame to oviv because the chazak ba'almo, it's not a vaday that the kohen gadol's father, it's his father. It's only because of roi bilas acha baal. However, by imoy, that it's for sure his mother. You might think that kohen gadol could be metame. That's why the pasuk has to say even by imoy the kohen gadol cannot be metame. Ein the Keren Oiro and many other Achronim, they ask a tremendous kasha. Ein the Netzivim we saw that brings a kasha mufusemes. That what's the pshat in this Gemara that you would think that a kohen gadol can't be metame to his father because it's not his father bevadai, and it's tzorchi and gadol. Why is that reason that he should not be metame if it's not his father? So then he's not a kohen. The only reason why we assume that this kohen gadol has a din of a kohen is because his father's a kohen. However, if we're saying that it's only because Rav Bilas Achabal is a tzad that his father is not his father, if his father is not his father, then you have to assume that Chas v'Shalom he came from a different husband. Then he doesn't have halacha of a kohen. He doesn't have isid timatam b'chlal. Ein the Raj ben Shuvis that brings a similar kashan to his kohenim. He says a different nusach, not because he's not a kohen. Rather, if he was noted from a different husband, then he is a mamzer. And this that the Raj was saying that since he's a mamzer, he doesn't have a din of a kohen. It's totally in tremendous chaki, which mentioned many in Shurim and Yivamis. If a mamzer is mafkia on kedushas kuna or not, and it's mashma the Rashba that since he's a mamzer, it's mafkia him on kedushas kuna, and therefore he doesn't have an isser that a kohen can't be metama to mason. And the Rashba in his truth is discussing the Torah's kohenim that learns out from a pasuk on that there's a mitzvah for kohen to metama to his koivim. Because you might think specifically to the mother, there's a mitzvah for the kohen to metama because it's his korev vadai. However, his father is not a vadai korev, and the Rashba was asked why he's not a vadai korev. So he brings a teretz that we're talking about a situation that is Edom, that the son is a kohen, and the Echad says that this is his father. Because since his Edom, there is a kohen, and his Echad, that this is his father, we're learning out from a posik that he could be metama. I the Rashba that asks further into his kohen, and why do you need a posik specifically over here that even a father has a halacha of a korev? Why don't we need a ribu? The other halacha is that even a father has a din like his korev, the gabi kivit of the aim. You don't need a ribu specifically. That even though the kurva of a father is only mitzad Rav Bilas Achabal, you don't need a pasuk to tell us that there's halacha kiva of aim. So why are we specifically over here do we need a pasuk? On that the Rashba says the answer is that specifically by Tumas Kroivim, since it's a chiddush, because a kohen gadol can't be metama, and by Yisrael there's no mitzvah to metama in the shum le'el. The Salvation is mistapik in the Safik. The Rashba Furish that Yisrael does not have a chiyuv to metama, and specifically a kohen hedyet has a mitzvah to metama to his korev. So therefore, it's considered a chiddush that the specifically kohen hedyet has a mitzvah to metam this korv. You would think einach boy ele chidushay, and only by a vadei korv, by a mother, not by a father, there's a mitzvah to metam this korv kamashmal, and even a father, there's a mitzvah to metam to. Ein Shurim from Yeshua Shlita that explains the Rashba that that's poshet and kol dinei Torah. The father has a halacha of a father. Who's the halacha of Rav Bilas Achabal? The kohen has a din of a kohen, his oimid, his makriv karbonis, and specifically the gabi tumas kroivim u'masupik. If there's a het on tumas kroivim, if it's not a vadai. And he says further that Tzitochin to say that the whole Safek and the Rashba is not if there is a Issa to Kroivim, rather if there's a mitzvah to Metama to Kroivim, that it's a specific halacha that you have a mitzvah to Metama to Kroivim. That it could be that wasn't the Chadish by a father. However, the Gabi, the Issa of Tumas Koivim is definitely a heter. Ein der Sefer Shari Chaim from Chaim Shmulevitz in the Woche, they mentioned the Shir and Brochus Daf Chof Ches that has a tremendous arichas to prove that these two separate Gedorim in the Halacha, they go Basaroiv, and with that he explains the Rashba. The Chaim Shmulevitz explains, they mention the Shur and Brochus, and that's Mavur, that you don't go Basaroiv by Goyim, and he says that specifically by a roiv that the Iker Halacha was said by a vadai, and it was nesdamen ba'kroi ba'alma, a situation of roiv that b'chaygavno, it wasn't a schadish halacha of roiv by goyim. However, there's many halachas that the Iker Halacha in the Torah was said specifically in a situation of roiv and b'chaygavno even by Goyim, you go Basiroiv. And with that, the Chaim Shmulevitz, the answers many kashas that the Achronim asks, according to Manda Omar, that holds ein hochem b'momen acharoiv. You can't be moitzi moment with a roiv. So how could you be moitzi moment by a knas or by moitzi shemra and give the father the knas? How do you know that the father of this girl is his father? It's because of roiv bilus achabal. And ein hochem moment acharoiv. So how could the roiv be moitzi moment? Ein shurim in ksubis taf tezvo, we brought from the flaw that the flaw says yesoy that if it's oger paskind and there's a roiv that was paskind gabi isurim, it could be moitzi moment as well. However, Chaim Shmulevitz says that the answer to this kasha is that these two different gedorim and a roiv and many halachis by definition was said. Even in the situation of a roiv, the fact that you're giving knas to the father of this girl, or moitzi shemra to the father of the girl, how do you know that it's his father? Kolchoch. The whole halacha was said based on a roiv, because it's not shaykh more than a roiv. So therefore, even a roiv has a status like a vadai. And b'chaygavno, it's not considered to be moitzi moment with a roiv, because the entire halacha was said specifically on the situation of a roiv. So the roiv has a koyach like a vadai. And according to this Yisoid, Chaim Shmulevitz says that's the beer in Toyas Koyanim, that he brings that there's a Yesh Oimim that explained the Toyas Koyanim, that the heter to mitamet to koyivim is not enough to have a roiv, you need a vadai. And only with a vadai could you mitamet to koyivim. However, Chaim Shmulevitz proves that's not the case, that even a roiv has the status of a vadai, and he explains the beer in Toyas Koyanim is that although even based on a roiv, the father has a din like a vadei father, because the whole halacha was said specifically based on the roiv, that it has a status like a vadei and kol kula, and it has a chashivas like a vadei oviv. However, the gabi tumas koyenim, the Rashba says that there's a havaminas, that since it's a chiddush, you need a vadei gomor, and it's not enough a roiv to matter tumas koyivim, and that's the beer in the Rashba that you would think that by Tumas Koyanim, since there's a Chiddush, you need Dafka the Avadai Gomer. Moving for the Antaisis says, they learn out from the Pasuk by Kohen Gadol, Afuke Rechoikim, that the Kohen Gadol has a Issa to Metame to Rechoikim, and Taisis asks, why do you need a Pasuk? By Kohen Gadol, there's a Issa to Metame to Rechoikim, typically, that he's like Goyer than Kohen Hediet, and Taisis says the answer is they need Pasuk, they even two lavim. And the Shurim from David Soloveitchik Suchet Levracha that asked that this Taisis is very shver, the Meichel Taisi, that there's two lavin, when you have a Tumas Kroivim or other Isurim that were never Kohen Hediet and was specified on a Kohen Gadol, is not the Pshat that was in Schadish, a second Isser, rather it was said by a Kohen Gadol to Mefarit, specifically by a Kohen Gadol, but not to Yemosif another Isser. And he brings from the Biskarov that asks, according to Taisis, that you have a second Isser by Tumas Rechoikim that was Nishnis a second time by a Kohen Gadol. Then Tzorchien, does that pertain by Issa Zoyna and Issa Chalola as well? That by a Kohen Gadol be like a Shnayim, Mishum Kohen Gadol and Mishum Kohen Hediet, and the Shil El. on the Mem Zayin, they pointed out that the suffix is totally, and the tremendous Chakira of the Osameach, the Gabi Kohen Gadol, every Kohen Gadol has a status of a Kohen Hedyot, and besides for this dinam of Kohen Hedyot, it also has a loch of a Kohen Gadol. As Mashman says, you have two different Chalos Kedushas, and therefore you could be like a Shnayim. It's still not Poshi like a Shnayim. Like Abdullah points out, it could be the Torah is only Mefareted again, but it's not to be Moisiv a second Isser. But Ayin Shamoy